Come in, Albie Stasek. Are you there? Albie? Over.
Yeah, you got this is the Cleveland what was it? Cleveland Bandit? I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
can't remember now.
No, you
We had
were
our
you we had
our
our
CB radio,
CB handles.
right? Our handles.
You were Oklahoma Bandit. Come in, Oklahoma
That's
Bandit.
right.
Oh, I
We
was
changed
Machine
your.
Gun Cleveland.
That's right, Machine Gun Cleveland. Come in over. Well, we've
Yeah,
got
you
a.
got me. I got you loud and clear, Oklahoma Bandit. This is Machine
All
Gun
right,
Cleveland. Over.
let's do this. We got the top 5 now. So keep in mind, we've been now at eXp. You've been in what, 9 months? Me 7 or 10 months, and me 8, somewhere
10.
in that range.
10.
10?
I'm 10.
10. 10. I
All
give it a 10.
up.
All right, so we've experienced. This has been the most amazing experience that I've had in my lifetime. I'm having the most fun I've ever had. It just gets better and better. And I'm getting to work with you, Albie, and everyone that's coming on board. And this company is just amazing. And I'm having a tremendous amount of fun. So what we want to do here is, we went through and we just looked at all these mega agent producers that have come on. And really, the top mega agent teams and brokers and independents that have joined eXp. And we were just kind of filtering through the list. Like, what were the top 5 reasons that everyone came on board? And as we started talking through it, interestingly enough, it wasn't, it isn't, probably what you might think in terms of the top 5 reasons, that really motivated the people to move over to eXp. So we wanted to break that down. And we've been doing updates at least every few weeks, and we kind of let off on that a little bit. So we wanted to put some good content out there for you guys, just to give you some perspective on what we're seeing and what we're experiencing as this company is like being handcuffed to a rocket in a good way. It's been a lot of fun. So Albie, name some of the names. And if you're watching this, type in the comments any of the top producers that that have joined the company. Most recently being Tom Daves. He's the most recent one that I heard recently joined the company. Tom Daves has been a part of our mastermind group before. He's a great guy. He was 4 years in a row the top number 1 Keller Williams agent in the world. That's a pretty big feat for someone like that to make a move to eXp, which I was told, and I don't know directly. I didn't, get into detailed discussions with Tom about it, but I believe that they sent the Keller Williams clan after him, trying to get him to stay, and that did not work, as he had already made the commitment to move, and he was not going backwards on that. So, Tom Daves joined the company, which is awesome. Another awesome, mega star in the industry that joined eXp. But who all else, just at the top, off the top of your mind, that we've worked with that has joined the company, the mega agents and the big independents?
I mean, most of them we've already interviewed, but like we got Brett Jennings, Carlos German, Andrew Gadosh, Ryan Reilly. We had Renee and Bob here in Cleveland. We can go down the line. Daniel Beer, Kyle Whistle. We just had. I'm gonna let a little secret out of the bag because today he transferred. Anthony Rivera, who absolutely with his partner owned the San Diego short sale market back in those short sale days. They sold thousands of homes. He just joined. Welcome, Anthony. I'm excited to work with him. I'm missing a ton of people. I mean, Curtis Johnson. We got Brett Gove. These are all top people. Robbie Barreau. They all ran $1 million plus. Some of them multi-million dollar plus real estate businesses. Some of them were teams. Some of them were their own brokerages. The gentleman, Kevin
Kaufman and Fred Weaver, the 4610 group, big expansion group with Keller Williams.
That was
Mike
was
Wall,
extra.
Aaron Catron.
Mike
There's,
Wall.
When you really think about it, and you look at the entire list, I mean, this is a partial list, right? Like this isn't probably everybody. But this is ones that like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's all right.
No, I was just gonna say Kevin Kevin Kaufman and Fred Weaver, especially, I've respected those two guys for such a long time. They grew an amazing Facebook group called, what is it called? Growth, Next Level Agents. I think there's like 16,000 people that are members of that Facebook group page. They just dump value on a daily, weekly basis into that group. They grew it organically, and so I just always had a lot of respect for their opinions on things, and they just have always done a real great job for the agents of our real estate community nationwide. And they were very outspoken about staying with Keller. Well, multiple times
Right.
they were quoted on saying, I'll be at eXp, before I'm dead, or something like that. And what was really cool was, his explanation on how he was thinking then and how he's thinking now. And he actually had the awareness of making the distinction of why he was thinking that way. And the great thing is this is all repeatable. It's the same thing that we hear over again. I'm sure Tom Dave could probably tell us a similar story. Why didn't you move over a year ago? Well, I didn't look at it a year ago. Why didn't you look at it a year ago? Well, I didn't, I thought I was in the perfect place. I loved my company. I mean, I loved Remax. I never left Remax because I didn't like Remax. I left Remax for the opportunity of opening up my own brokerage. And I didn't leave my own brokerage because it wasn't successful. We doubled down and doubled in number of units and sales and all that. That wasn't the reason, but we're going to get into the reason because my reasons are part of these 5 reasons we're going to touch on today.
Right. So what's up, Dan Hillsman, who has been instrumental in bringing on some great people, some great teams in the Atlanta area. And what's up, Jacob? And so for those of you watching, we're watching. We can see you on today's broadcast, and any comments or anything like that, we can see you and we'll communicate with you. So comment away. But yeah, it's really interesting, and it really is almost the same story. I think there's for anybody is 1 of 2 categories. If you're if you're for the mega agents and the independents and stuff like that, number one, I would say that they either didn't really look at it or they looked at it with, disbelief, you know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, they just didn't believe it, right? Like the first time I looked at it, I just didn't believe it could be as good as it looked like it was. And, I questioned how legitimate it was.
Right.
The first time, it's a lot harder to do that now when you see this many smart people joining the company, right? Like, okay, I probably should pay attention to it. But even the other day I was talking to, there's 2 people that really truly have not sat down and looked at the model and really evaluated it. And I found that interesting that they hadn't taken the time to do so. Again, entrenched in where they're at, happy, I'm saying not unhappy. So, there's not any real pain they're necessarily trying to solve. In some of these cases, at least things are going fairly well for them. They're not it's not something that's broken they're trying to fix necessarily. Or they didn't know there was a better way is probably another better way to look at it, is they just didn't realize there was a way to solve the one of the problems that a lot of our larger mega agent teams have. So that's kind of that. So
happiness.
Let's hit the top 5.
Let's hit the top 5. But before we do, happiness is the core. It's at the core of everything that we're after, right? In our lives, professionally and personally. And when somebody's happy, who wants to mess that up? That's another big reason, I think. Hey, look, man, I finally got this thing humming. I'm good. That's kind of how I felt. But the other thing I want to point out too is that, and it's they half listen, and it's not because they're not smart. It's because they got so many different things happening around them that they can't focus for 30 minutes and learn about the intricacies of this model. So they half listen to it. So they hear the wrong information. They're not hearing it accurately, even though they're, what I'm saying? I just ran into this with a mega team we're bringing over here up in Cleveland, where this person he wasn't listening 100%, missed the whole thing of why the opportunity. Then he's like, aha, I get it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I was having conversations for 9 months with this guy.
You know what's funny, man? Today I was thinking about I do this live presentation every Thursday for everybody in our group, right? and I started to just get kind of frustrated because I keep trying to make this thing shorter, but I believe the longer version that we very first did, that it was so much more. It had so much more in it in terms of explaining everything about the model, so you saw the whole big picture. I just think it's more important that, and I think there's not very many people that don't do the research, watch more than one video, go out there and are watching 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 things. And I just think that we did a really good job on that very first one, and we should probably try to replicate that in terms of the depth of information where people can evaluate the whole thing all at one time. And if somebody's too busy to spend an hour working on their business, then I would really question their commitment to the business. I mean, spending an hour on looking at a business model that could be a threat or could be an opportunity is required of us to be successful. And so, so I don't know. I think that's just something that we should probably be doing is looking at bringing a deeper dive on the business model so that people see it. And this will be just a surface level top 5 reasons, which will be useful, I think, for a lot of people that watch this video to see kind of, okay, these all make sense. That's interesting enough for me to look at it. But anyway,
I think it's safe to say you just made an amazing distinction. If you run a team or operate a brokerage, if you fall into one of those 2 categories, eXp is either an opportunity or a threat. It's one of those 2 things,
right?
And you need to know about it one way or the other, right? I mean, that's an amazing distinction. You just
right.
dropped little
you
bits
should be
of these
doing the homework
things.
Just so you can. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine when if you're an independent brokerage, maybe not so much a team it's not as big of a threat because your agents probably are not as likely to go off on their own as at a brokerage. But if you own an independent brokerage, a small brokerage, you're probably going to get picked apart. I mean, at some point, and it's going to be very frustrating. And you could actually leverage this business model as opposed to be forced into it in some way. So here we go. Top five this is for the mega agent teams and brokers that have moved to eXp. And number 5. Coming in at number 5 on the list is, let's see if I can show this on the screen, lower costs. So this was not really a surprise, right? Like if you can lower your cost in your business model, it's always something that you're looking to do. And so I think that's something that we found that every single person has been able to, the larger teams have been able to lower their overall costs, especially if they were an expansion or doing a lot. If they're Keller Williams, we're at a lower overall cap. Your agents are on a half cap. It pretty much lowers the expenses across the board for just about everybody that we've talked to that are in these mega agents. If you're an independent brokerage, it may not necessarily lower some of the costs because there's a little bit of an increase in cost because you're paying a cap into eXp. But ultimately, with the when you do the math and the revenue share and the stock and everything, and the fact that if you're producing and you're an icon agent potential, you could get the 16,000 back in stock. So it's really actually going to be still better off for you financially. But I've just seen more and more people that are making the comments that they're really saving money by moving over to eXp. It might be that they're saving money in their brick and mortar, and they're able to do some technology that they're spending money on, things that they don't have to do anymore, and depending on how they make changes to the model. What's been your experience on that with lowering costs?
Yeah, so I was an independent broker. I actually ironically had SkySlope that I was paying for. I loved it. I mean, when I went independent in 2013, I bought SkySlope to handle transaction coordination so that I could start storing all my documents in a cloud. So I saved money there because I was paying that as the broker for all of my agents. I also saved money on my lead generation platform. That dropped. As far as the my $16,000 cap, that you can look at it 2 different ways. I already got that back because I'm an icon agent. Most independent brokers, if they position themselves coming in, will get that back in stock as well. $12,000 of the stock that you get back is vested over 3 years, so I can't cash it right away, but $4,000 of it is cashable tomorrow if I wanted to. So
Right.
I did achieve that, and any independent broker that's that's doing a decent amount of business will hit that. What did we figure it out to be? Like maybe 40 deals or so, maybe 40 or
Yeah.
50 deals, and I mean, you should be able to hit that. And so for me, it was a money saver. And then
Right.
when you add in the additional benefits of revenue share and this and that, it really hasn't cost me anything to be at this company.
Right. So that in and of itself, that's not going to probably make you move, right? So like it's a table stake. Like if I'm going to be uprooting my company or my team and moving somewhere, that's probably not going to be that's a nice to have benefit if I'm going to be making that decision, but it can't be the only thing. So that's number 5. Can't stand alone on its own, but definitely one of the main reasons. So let me go back to the agenda and we will go to number 4, alignment. You probably heard this in several of the interviews that we've done with folks that have joined. I remember telling Curtis Johnson back in probably 2007, we actually kicked around the idea of opening a brokerage together, a whole bunch of us actually. And the biggest problem was the last name would have been like, Kinder, Johnson, Stasek, Reese, Michaels, like it would have 10 names because we'd never be able to agree with the name. You know what I'm saying? That would be like our egos would have been too big to agree to anything. So, but when you think about it, like, you may not want to partner, with every one of these individuals, but man, wouldn't it be great if you were all working together and there was some alignment here where it makes sense for everybody to work together and help one another and do something bigger, and getting to work with people at a really high level that think the way you think. Like this goes back to like the perfect day exercise when you really think like, what would be my perfect day? Where you live, where you wake up, what does it smell like? Do you go for a jog? Are you on the beach? Are you whatever? Like, what's that perfect day? And for me, my perfect day was always an afternoon, like a lunch to mid-afternoon work where I'm working with the, people that are both intellectually just going to challenge me and help me grow and want to do something fun and grow something big together. Like I would always want to be doing, have the ability to spend in my perfect day, spend time with those kind of people and working on doing something big. And we get to do that here. And I think everyone that's coming on board sees the opportunity to be in alignment, to be in a room in a mastermind, working together on something, not learning something to go back and do your own thing, but to do something together. And I think that is, it's one of the big reasons for me being here for sure.
Well, I mean, I've never witnessed, other than, in a small setting for our mastermind, that I think at any time only topped out at maybe 40 to 50 members tops. I think it's, you tried keeping it around 40 members because we wanted a nice tight group. There was unlimited amounts of sharing going on in masterminds, but I've never seen it on this level. We're talking about, we're up to 13,000 agents or whatever we're up to right now. Who knows? It could be 14 for all. I have no idea what the number is. I know we're at 12, but that was probably over a month ago that was announced. So I know that that number's higher, and I've never seen the amount of sharing. All the Remax agents and everything that I used to, they were sharers, no doubt, but not like this. This is just different. I only have a few things to compare it to, and I've never seen anything like it. And it's because of the alignment. I think that
Right.
the other thing that you hit on months ago is, in addition to that type of an alignment, allowing you to align with all these big players, and then it's actually created a more of an abundance mindset for people. Whereas everyone wants to be abundant until it's time to share something with another person in your market that you don't want. You know what I mean? Like now we're sharing everything with people, you know what I mean, in our market because we have that alignment piece.
Right.
And it's a biggie. I don't even know where's this is number 4. It could have easily been number 3. Really. Yeah. But,
it could have easily been number 3. I could. It's a toss-up. The more I talk about it, the more I would have to say. At least for me, it's a number 3. I think for most people, maybe it is. If I think about across the entire, the group of people that have come on board that I'm thinking about, it's probably number 3 or 4 for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's what a blessing, man. Every day getting to work with people like that, and you know, and I say this all the time when I'm in a conversation with someone and helping them with their business is, you know, at the end of the conversation, I don't have to ask for your credit card. And man, that feels good, right? Like that's contribution and fulfillment as well. So definitely number 4 is a good one. You know, imagine, you know, if you're, you know, for those of you who aren't at eXp yet, imagine what it would be like getting to work with the, you know, the people that, you know, that you have the most respect for in the industry every day, and them having an incentive to want to help you build your business. I mean, you know, you just can't ask for a better environment than that. And it's hard to explain it until you experience it, because it's not like what you know right now. I can tell you that much. All right. So number 3, exit strategy. So, you know, I've had, in fact, I interviewed Kimberly Canducci this week, and it was probably her number 1. It was her number 1, actually. And, you know, she'd been in real estate for 20 years and she had no exit strategy. And, you know, clearly, you know, some years are better than others. And, you know, real estate's been pretty good to us the last, you know, several years, but we all know a downturn is probably coming, you know, and are you in a position, you know, where you're ever going to be able to exit your business? And I think most of us I didn't think about it for years. You know, it wasn't my number 1 thing, but I think if you look at the number of people that are moving over here, this is a big consideration. Am I putting myself in a position where I can either exit my business as a producer, or I can, you know, actually retire and not have to work? And not that I think the main focus is not having to work, but I think, you know, just having the financial freedom to go do more travel, spend more time with your kids or grandkids or whatever the case may be. Most of us don't, you know, this business is not a good business for us to be able to save our own money. We tend to spend it back in the business, and then we, you know, have to pay our own taxes. And, you know, for the real estate agent on average, I think that, you know, there's usually not a whole lot that's saved. You know, and, you know, for us opportunists, we tend to want to spend it back in the business. So there's really not really much of an exit strategy for most of us. If you're building a business and you're seeking truth, you know, the opportunity for you to sell that business, you know, it's not probably worth more than 1.5 times, you know, your profits or your EBITDA. And so, you know, do the math. You know, what's it really worth? You know, you want to keep building that, and you keep building it, and you think someone's going to come along and buy it. I mean, the franchises give their franchises away these days. They pay you to take them. You know, it's just not a likely exit, you know, for most people, even if you own a franchise or you're independent. So what's your take on that, Al?
Well, my take is that, you know, we're such a unique business in industry. I have a good friend of mine who I owned a place up at the lake. He had a house up there as well, and he sold his business. And I'm not even sure the exact number. It's probably, you know, 5 to 8 million, somewhere in that realm. But it was a business he started himself. It was actually a refrigeration business. And, you know, he busted his butt. I mean, it almost felt like he was a real estate agent, because he worked sometimes he would get called. He'd have to leave the lake and go, you know, take care of one of his customers that he serviced. You know, like he took care of grocery stores and all their refrigeration stuff. And like, he had an exit strategy. Like when he was done, his competitor bought him, and we talked about like how much you would need to make, you know, to make, you know, 20 or 30 or $50,000 in residual monthly income. Well, you need about, you did the math on it, was like $8.5 million sitting in the bank. What do you need to do to get that? Well, a lot in our business. And
right.
So much so that the average agent will never get there, period.
Right.
The math it won't get you there, no matter, you know, I'm not talking about the average agent, or even the stronger agent who's doing 30, 40 deals. They're not going to get there for probably, what do we say? It would take them 30 to 40 years. And that's if they're really, really prudent in saving their money. In other words, we're not building something that's worth anything.
Right.
You know? You made the comment
right.
Saturday morning when I was vetting that opportunity out. that was a brilliant comment. We were talking about, you know, ownership and percentage of ownership in a team and this and that, and you're like, well, it ain't really worth anything anyway. I'm like, good point. It's just not. I mean, it's not that it's unsellable completely. It's just not sellable for all the blood, sweat, money, and tears you put into it
Heck
over the
no.
course of like 25 years. And
And,
so,
let's talk about that just real briefly. We don't have to get into the exacts of it, but what you were trying to do was incentivize your best people and give them a reason of something of value to have some ownership and to want to build it the way we want to build it. Compensation drives behavior, and that's what this model. On the flip side, that's really what eXp has done is they've given us all the ability to be owners in the company, and it's because it's publicly traded. It is a real asset that you have, and it vests over 3 years, but that's a real asset that you have. You can do something with. And if you believe in the company and you believe in the company is going to grow, no different than Amazon did and no different than Netflix did and no different than every other cloud-based company. If you look at the Forbes list of top billionaires, a cloud-based company owner is the one that's at the top of that list right now, and Jeff Bezos. When you really understand the business model and you really think about the company and you're committed to being a part of helping grow it, it's a no-brainer. We don't know what stocks go up, stocks go down, but it seems like a really good exit strategy when you don't have one. not to mention the passive income and the durability of the passive income that you can earn by helping grow the company. So those are both very high on the list. Number 3 is where we have that at, and let's hit number 2.
Number 2.
I would do a drum roll. Number two, the broken model. Your model's broken. And what I mean by that is, for the folks, and this may not be entirely true for everyone, but for most of you, most of the ones that have come on, I would say you have had a hell of a run at trying to build a real estate team to be sustainable and to really be sustainable without you in production. Or you're an independent broker and you've done a hell of a job at building a company and a brand and your marketplace and trying to add value to your agents, but you're still losing. Your best agents are getting recruited every day from you, and you're having to recruit all the time agents into your company. It isn't the hardest thing. I mean, it's an everyday grind. Every day you wake up thinking about who's leaving you. If you're an independent brokerage, I know that's what you wake up thinking. As a team, every day you ain't got time to think. You ain't got time to sleep, man. You're every day building it. But you have the same problem. After about 3 years, your top agents start getting referrals, and they take that as they're getting that business on their own, and then they want to talk to you about split. Before you know it, they're going to be leaving. You know it. You know when it's coming. You can see it. You can feel it. You try to align some opportunity to that for them to try to keep them. But you really can't afford to pay them anymore in the model. And the threat is now you're going to get to go back on to listing appointments again. And you literally, you start drinking heavily in the evenings and you're like, well, damn it, I don't want to go back on listing appointments. What do I do? And I'm exaggerating, but I'm not, because I've been there 3 times in my real estate business. And when I stepped out and finally got it right, but it's really not sustainable. Even to the point of, when I stepped out of my business, 5 years now that I stepped out and I sold the business to the guys that were running it. And now, it declined every single year that I was out of the business. So, when you think you're going to step away, I really stepped away. Like I stepped away from Oklahoma to Texas. I didn't step away, meaning I wasn't going on listing appointments, but I still showed up in the office every day. I stepped out of the business and was gone from the town. So, that was a big difference. So what are your thoughts?
Well, number 2 could have easily been we could have also called that the missing core value.
Right.
The part that's broken is the sustainability. Missing core value that when you and I were sitting in there in Fort Lauderdale, an eXp con, right before you joined, and when we turned our lanyard over and we saw the core values on the back of the lanyard, and it said sustainability, and we looked at each other, it was like, wow, that's the part that's broken.
Get it.
So, look, you might be making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in your business. if you're raking in that kind of money, chances are you're still selling houses, working 7 days a week, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there is zero wrong with that. What we're saying is that the sustainable. How long can you sustain that?
Right.
Typically,
I mean, I don't care.
know,
Yeah, I don't care who you are. You may be happy right now, but I went on 4,000 listing appointments, and by God, I'm never going on another one. And you get to that
even
point.
Even Forrest Gump had to stop running.
Yeah, at some point you were like, please, no more. And I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it, but I was running, man. I mean, it was a grind. And I think everybody gets to that point at a certain point in their career. And I see people right now that are building that have not had, they haven't had to tear it down, lose their top 3 agents and their number 1 admin person to go open a company on their own, then lose, the churn of the agents at the bottom, the ones that won't make the calls, all the systems and processes and meetings and babysitting and everything you got to do to get them to just do what you would have done no matter what without anybody asking you to do it. And, you just keep, it's a continuous grind. The pressure is always on. The intensity is always there. And there's never a time to rest because the market's cyclical. It goes up, and you got a market that that goes good through the summer and weak through the winter. So the pressure's on even more in the winter because you might your business might not be as profitable or might even lose money in the winter. Like it is a high to build a big successful team like this that you can't take your eye off the ball. And that's something I think we all just experience at a certain point. The people that are moving over are seasoned. Okay, they know some shit you don't know, probably. If you're in, there's a few people that have kind of looked at eXp and forget that, and they're building, they're new. They never had to tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up. They haven't hired, they just haven't been through it yet, And I feel sorry for them because they don't realize that the ladder that is they're gonna realize that they spend 10 years building this business and their ladder was up against the wrong wall. And so, I think that's, it's something that we talk about all the time. The model is broken. We're always trying to evolve and fix it, evolve and expand it. There's all these different things that we try to do. But, really expansion was just expanding the part of the model that was the most broken. You can't expand into a new market where they don't know who you are and think that you're going to be able to build your business the same way that you did in your current market. So, you can expand into that market with buyer lead gen, but you're going to get an average of 1.5 deals per agent. And you're going to be taking your eye off the ball where your high margin is. And you're going to probably take your best person that you need to help focus on this. And you're going to focus on, the part of the business model that's the least profitable. Or you're going to partner with somebody, help them build their brand in that marketplace. And they're going to leave you in 2-3 years because you don't bring enough value once they build a brand. So, it just doesn't work. And, all these people that are doing it, if they're doing it on thin margins. And, but again, they're all, and more power to them, man. They're just doing the same thing we've been trying to do is find a better way. Right.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, we found it, guys. Everybody just take a look over here. It's called eXp.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, I'd be curious, how many different people have we partnered with this eXp opportunity in all these different cities and haven't had to open up one office,
Right.
We haven't had to pay any additional cap, We
didn't have to pay for a technology tool again to open that up. So, it
put a check in that box.
Unlimited. Yep. So, all right, now we're down to the number one reason. Number one, if you want to see it, it's my favorite word. Here it is. Opportunity. That's the reason. That's the number one reason people are coming to this company. Where you're at today, there's no opportunity. There's none. And when there's no opportunity, go ahead.
What did he say in your interview when you interviewed him? And he had an acronym. It was 3 letters. There was an O in it for opportunity. You remember what it was?
Yeah, it was MOP. But MOP was the acronym.
MOP.
I can't remember the other 2. I know the O was opportunity.
Money, I'll have to go back. Money, opportunity, and personal growth.
Personal growth, that's it, yeah.
Personal growth. And those are the 3 things that he felt like he's always believed that people were, they wanted personal growth. Well, just about every franchise, I think, does a pretty good job. And I might be generalizing, but, they all have training. all these real estate companies have training. If not, you can find, it outside the industry, not outside the industry, but outside of the franchise, like I did when I found Kinder Reese. I found Kinder Reese because I wanted to grow more and I wasn't finding it,
Right.
but you'll find it. So there's the personal growth, the money. I mean, if you're good, you can make money anywhere, right? But
Right.
it was the O. It was the O in his acronym MOP.
Right.
That was the big in, and it is the big in, and it is the reason
Yep.
why there's a line of thousands of agents at the door at any given time when you're walking up the street to this club eXp.
Right.
It's because of
Club
opportunity.
eXp.
Yeah.
Come inside the red rope with us. So as it relates to the mega agents and brokers, the reason I think that you see that these are the builders. They built big businesses. They've built companies. They probably have done really well for themselves, and they understand when they see opportunity. They understand how to evaluate opportunity, and they understand how to take advantage of opportunities. And so that's why when you see early on, and I believe we are still very early on at eXp, you see people making the move that are smart people that have done a lot successfully in their lives and in their careers. They see angles you don't see. They see opportunity that you probably haven't seen. And they know how to, and they have a proven track record of performance. So, that opportunity is going to be captured by those people. So, so I think that's, part of the main reason that people, there's no more opportunity left at any of these other companies. What's your opportunity at Keller Williams today? You can open a market center. How many do they have? I mean, they've peaked out. There's really no more opportunity there. Not that there ever was really much opportunity. Not to be picking on Keller Williams, but it was, they had a brilliant model, but it didn't actually produce any wealth for anybody, right? Nobody is wealthy except for the first few people that got into Keller Williams.
It did for the first people that got in.
But here's what I would also say: those people invested well. I know a few of those people, and their claim to fame is not that they got all this money and revenue and this cash flow from their profit sharing at KW. Every person I've ever talked to at Keller Williams, their profit share is either in the cents or in the dollars, or every once in a while in the hundreds of dollars. And if they've been there for 20 years, maybe in the 1,000 or 2,000 range. So it's never been creating a lot of wealth for years and years. It's been the case, and that's just unfortunately you get in last. The opportunity is no longer there. I mean, this country, you shouldn't be surprised when you see people move into eXp. This country was founded on people seeking opportunity. They were way crazier than coming to eXp. They got in a boat and sailed across the ocean to come to some land that they had never seen before, and literally started making their way across the United States. And I watched the documentary on this the other day, and it is fascinating. I remember it in history class in school, but the Men Who Built America series on the History Channel has this segment called The Frontiersmen. They were crazy. You want to talk about opportunists, like the things that they were having to live through and do to settle the United States and to create the opportunity and the freedom that we all have. It's just fascinating. A fascinating story. It really is. And
a lot of people died.
Yeah. I mean, they were willing to die for freedom. And I think, at all costs, we're all, looking for that same opportunity, for that same freedom. And this company provides the opportunity. And, no different than, you have the opportunity to grow your business as big and as fast as you want to grow it within this model. You can expand it much better and more efficiently within this model. And you have the ability to leverage the stock opportunity and the revenue share opportunity to create massive wealth and numbers that are not even fathomable by most people, but very real to those of us who are focused on it. It's just the opportunity of a lifetime. We're not going to talk about the specific numbers because they don't want us to do that. So it's obnoxious how much money we're making, but we're adding a ton of value to people in the process of doing so, and we're helping grow this great company. So it's pretty fun. It's at the end of the day. When you think Mike Reese talks about life by strategy. And I know he's got a book that's coming out called Life by Strategy, and really trying to align things to to be able to live the life that you want to be able to live. And when you see a vehicle for that, smart people make a move, and they take advantage of that opportunity. And the best thing that I ever learned probably early on was I'm not the smartest kid in class. I just always sat next to them. And if I see smart people doing something, I'm pretty good at copying whatever it is they're doing. And I found that to be, Jay Abraham gives me, he always gets mad when I say copycatting. He says I'm devaluing the principle as modeling success. But that's, that's what it is. You model success, you model successful people. And if you want to be, if you really want to model success, you want to come to eXp because successful people are coming here, and you can leverage everything they've done because they're going to share that with you, so you can be more successful in your business as well. So that's the number one.
Copycat 2 to copycat 1.
Copycatter number 1. We got a good idea over here. We're going to implement right away.
Well,
it's called Move to eXp. Makes everything easier.
I wanted to mention the conversation that you and Mike and I had about, I don't know, it was like an hour and a half ago. It was right before my haircut. By the way, you didn't really comment on my hair.
I know you was doing a good job. I could tell why you were a little bit late today. Looking dapper.
Yeah. Well, she also blended in. I learned a lesson about not trying to, my beard was getting out of control. So I tried to cut it myself, and I cut a bald spot right here. And so she did a great job of trying to hide that. But,
right.
In talking about that conversation, what we were doing was we were planning out our travel for July, and we were planning out our travel for, some of the rest of the year about how we're going to strategically go around and fly from place to place and help the people that we've aligned with and we've brought into this amazing company, help them grow and duplicate what we're doing in Las Vegas, and duplicate what we're doing, down in Orlando or Cleveland or Dallas or wherever we have, our partners. And it got me thinking about what you had said earlier. I mean, we're doing 2 live trainings in addition to everything that happens in the cloud. Outside of the cloud, we're doing live trainings. We're delivering, I think, more value at the lowest. Like there's no cost to the people,
Right.
that we're training. It doesn't cost them anything to get the type of training and coaching, and it's live. Like we're getting on. We get on we do 3 lives a week. You and I do one, and then we have one of our just top level agents that have joined us go on and talk about a topic. Yesterday it was Curtis Johnson. It's been Daniel Beer. He got on there. Kyle Whistle talked about how to kill it in video, and we're just gonna keep this coming. It's beautiful,
right?
It's not falling solely on our shoulders. We have other people who have learned, great hacks, if you will, with this business to shorten the timeline from A to B to help people grow their business faster. And we don't, like you said, we're not having to collect a credit card and charge $1,200 a month to do it. And that's just cool,
Right. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point you just made. If we weren't at eXp, the odds that we would be able to get a Daniel Beer to do a session, to create a presentation and share one of his best ideas, or a Kyle Whistle, or a Tom Daves, or anyone, Curtis Johnson, whoever is sharing the next one, Rowena Patton, the odds that they would actually take the time to do that just because, the economics of it would be we'd have to charge you. And so we'd have to have a business that we were building where we charge you for that. And we would have to be making money. We would have to convince them to do it, and they would want a piece of that money. And that probably wouldn't work out too well. So like just the mechanics of just having that value at your fingertips every week, the alignment in this model allows you to have so much more value being given to you because of their compensation model. They have truly nailed a compensation model that aligns everyone in the company to want to help each other grow. And it is magical, guys. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And all I can say is, you can keep hearing us talk about it, but I hope that you're paying attention because, you're missing out if you're not involved.
Love it, man. I think we nailed all 5.
You got it.
You got any updates you want to give everybody? We haven't, we're getting on every week, and we've been so busy just, having fun building the company. I was stuck in Key West for a week. I was stuck in the Grand Caymans with you for a week, and we're back and hitting it. But any updates? I mean, we got Key West coming. We're going back to Key West for our mastermind in November.
Right.
If anybody on here would be interested in attending that mastermind, leave a comment in the say, I don't know, what do we want them to say? Me?
Yeah, just reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out to us if this is something you're interested. It's going to be in Key West, second week in November, and it's during the powerboat races. So I'm super excited about that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. So yeah, definitely. There's that. As far as obviously, NAEA, we've got some boot camp trainings that are going on in July, into July. I'm pretty sure that actually already sold out though. But yeah, what else you got?
Nothing. We got that. We got eXp Con, and that's going to be in New Orleans in November. Right. I'm sorry. That's October.
October. Right.
Yeah, October. We got that coming up, and I believe that between now and then, we got a little road show. You're gonna be seeing us around. You might be seeing us in your town.
That's right.
We're coming to a town.
We're going to be adding value to our all of our business partners, and we're going to be dropping some value on agents in markets across the country. So,
yep,
here we come.
Here we go.
All right,
my friend.
As always, it's always great to catch up and share here on Facebook Live.
The pleasure's all mine,
and
my
share
friend.
with them. Well, hey, make it a great day. It's a great Thursday.
Have a great Thursday, my friend. Bye, Facebook.
What you gonna say?
I was gonna say our next one. We're gonna do top 5. What was the next topic? You had, this was the top 5.
Probably for like agents producing under 10 million or something like that, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Highlight some.
We'll come up with a couple different ones.
All right, cool.
Right, so just kind of breaking down some, because everybody's at a different place and trying to solve a different problem and trying to get to a different place. So
yeah,
we'll try to break down some more of these. So be on the lookout.
Awesome. Have a great day, everybody.
Later. See you at the top
or from the top.